Uh, People, I hope everybody's doing good. I'll say good morning, good day here. Uh, Current time is 17:24 Central, 18:24 Eastern. Um, so I've been looking at this one report, and I'm gonna show it to you in a minute. Um, and I was doing some research on this. It's really, really strange. Not just strange to me, not just strange to somebody else. It's just completely strange. 2 years ago, for some reason, out of the blue, they decided to do an audit on F-35 parts. Why? Probably because they found some somewhere and want to know where they came from. Now, keep in mind, quite a few years ago, and I did a video on it, there was a F-117 that China had knowledge of where we send our spy satellites over, and we're taking pictures of their stuff. And China put something out there for us to find, okay, on this lot that's known for their military equipment, and left it out there several nights. Well, we flew our satellite over and captured images, and it was F-117. We're like, wait, what? What? That's impossible. We knew where all of ours were at. Okay, right? And yet there it was. So then they decided to check it against heat signatures because of it being stealth, and they knew exactly how it would and wouldn't show up. And then they looked at it in infrared, and it is exactly what it would have been if it was a proper F-117. Okay, so if they didn't steal one, they stole the parts and built one, right? Okay, so fast forward, they just, for some reason, decided to do an audit on all the F-35 parts. Okay, 2 years ago, this was 2 years ago. And they found a bunch of them missing, and they're like, we don't know where they're, all these, I'm talking, it's probably enough to build quite a few of them, but there's a lot of missing parts. Okay, fine. All they would really need is the canopies. Now fast forward to Russia finds a reason to, all of a sudden, even though it's in war, right, to go to Cuba and start having their warships off Cuba. Okay, Russia's in Cuba starting 2 months ago. Now this was after a helicopter just changed sides, flew over to Ukraine, and then when the pilot landed and the other crew realized where they were, the Ukrainians that went into the helicopter to get that pilot, basically they got into a little bit of a skirmish with those two guys, and they killed the two Russians that were on the crew of the helicopter. They were supposed to be taking, I believe they said it was parts. So now he wanted to defect though and use his helicopter for Ukrainian side. Okay, so it could have been a tit for tat, but I'm saying that now Russia being in Cuba, and now Russia has shown, we've already known they had some top of the line, their electronic warfare is off the hook. They can shut down all communications, they can do all kinds of stuff. But they just recently started taking over Ukrainian drones and what? Making them land. So there's a drone, military drone, flying, and Russia has the electronic capability to not only to jam it, but to take it over and to fly it and land it on their own strip. And they did that. But the Ukrainians already knew they could do that. And so they put, when all the officers came up, the Russian officers came up, they had put explosives on it, and they self-detonated it, and it killed those guys, the Russians. It killed the Russians that were checking out what they had just landed. So Russia has the ability to take any airplane, period. So they just had the one that went off the coast of South Carolina, okay, and the pilot, while they said it was on autopilot, the pilot ejected. evidently he lost control of the aircraft, but it was just flying in a direction. He didn't want to go in that direction, but for whatever reason. But okay, whatever the reason was, they want to say they found the remains of it or whatever, but that it was so small. They said we don't know. We can't say if we found it or not because there's so little remains of anything. It's all burned up. Yeah, right. There's been commercial jet airliners that went straight down into the ground and their engines were still there. You know, there's been fires of planes that's always still there. So they could have found a barbecue grill in South Carolina and said that's the remains. Who knows? But well, so for 2 months now, there was another F-35. The pilot is missing. They said they found parts of it. I would like to know the end result of that, either if he could have, and this was a Japanese pilot, it was a Japanese F-35. I'd like to know if the guy was trying to defect and was flying it, or if he punched out, if he, pulled the lever to eject. Because if he did eject, if he punched out, here's the similarity, and here's what's going on with the F-35 people don't know about. The F-35 has a computer system that is controlled, that basically within the computer system is the only airplane that can eject the pilot in a split second. The pilot doesn't get to make the choice. If that pilot, if the plane knows that it's fixing to hit the hard deck, if it's coming down too low in a either a loop, or if it's for some reason the altimeter wasn't set right or whatever, but the plane knows its proximity to a mountain or this or that, it'll eject the pilot. If Russia has electronic capabilities to capture in mid-flight an airplane and tell it to land on their strip, right? It could also eject a pilot from a really nice plane and continue flying it to Cuba. They've been down there for 2 months. They've also been taking some Cubans and talking them into making, something like $20,000 a month or something to go and to work in Russia is what they say, but it winds up they put them on the battlefield as mercenaries. And then a lot of them have said, no, we're not going to fight, and then they put them in prison. So they've got a lot of Cubans in prison in Russia now because of that, and then they've got some that they had doing other things. Well, I think they're going to be sending them up next. They've already sent, Venezuela was doing some craziness, and they just sent I don't know how many thousands of men that were in this weird prison. The Venezuelan, it's really weird. There was this prison that wasn't really a prison. They had all these Venezuelans in there, and when the authorities went in and checked out the prison, they found guns of all types. They found they were training, and they were also shooting them. And then they also found in that so-called prison nightclubs and all kinds of stuff. Really weird. It wasn't a prison. It was a place where they were being trained to then come over into the United States unarmed, and then to break in wherever and take weapons and then cause chaos, which is going to, if they wanted to disarm the American public, that's the way that they would do it, is if they were agreeing to it, is to let a bunch of rabble-rousers in, and then people that are trying to defend themselves, or they just get their weapons stolen. That's this some weird stuff. But so back to Russia being in Cuba. I appreciate the like. I ain't done nothing. I just got here. But back to Russia being in Cuba. They could have. It's only 70 miles to Cuba. That plane could have flown even on its own over, well, indefinitely, but over 150, just keeping it level flight on the autopilot. But no, it was controlled. So if the only parts they would have to have for that F-35 is the canopy, and anything else, the pilot's seat and the canopy. Okay, and so they probably ejected the pilot, or they got it so that it was under control, and the pilot ejected because he realized he was no longer in control of his aircraft. And that's when they shut down the entire everything for the Marines. All the Marines were grounded. Why are you going to ground all the Marines? Because they're like, what is this? Is this Is this this systemic failure, an endemic problem? Are all these people defecting or selling out parts to a foreign entity, right? So they're like, we got to find out what's going on. You shut down the whole. All the Marines were grounded, all of them, right? Why would they do that, right? Unless they suspected, and it was normal to suspect that maybe that guy turned. Okay, but he was all busted up and in a hospital. He landed in somebody's like yard or something. Anyway, so yeah, and at that point they didn't know how many other aircraft were able to be taken over or were already taken over. So I don't think that it's unless they've had other helicopters and stuff. I don't think it's anything but the F-35s, because the F-35, the aircraft itself can eject the pilot. Okay, so if someone can do this, another entity, another country like Russia and China can do it too. Well, China probably has one too, because there was a Japanese F-35 that what happened? Well, and they haven't found the pilot yet, and they also haven't found the plane. They said they found parts. Well, if he had ejected, of course there'd be some parts, right? Not many, but for some reason, the U.S. they sent all these ships and stuff, and I've got it on the screen here, but then they quit looking. The U.S. don't quit looking. They said Japan can still look. No, unless they knew, unless another country said, oh, by the way, we have it. So I went to where they put out a fake story saying that they found it, and then it says error not found. So I'm gonna show you that real quick. So error not found message. Check this out. Okay, so this is where the U.S. Navy sent a P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft and a destroyer to search for the missing F-35. So they put all this manpower out there looking for it, okay? It disappeared from radar during a training flight, okay? And this has been a couple months. Okay, but now watch this. This is a cover story that was just so bad that nobody would believe it. Wreckage from crash, they're found, pilot still missing. No, watch this. Whoops, something went wrong from the Insider, which is a fake little art propaganda kind of, it's kind of like Russia puts out stuff, bounces it all over the place, and then they use their own fake sources as a source, and they say, oh, look, it was here in this place in Africa where we have a newspaper. So this Insider is garbage. All right, let's just go back. So the point is, let's just do this. Alexa. Well, let's try this here, if I can do this. Where's it at? I'm not saying I'm on top of everything. I'm just saying. Let's see if I can find it. I'm working on it for you people. Oh, that's what I looked. Where's the F-35 that went missing? Okay, that says a frantic search, okay? But, all right, back. Let's try this. Alexa, where is our missing F-35?
From insider.com.
Oh, not that one.
A frantic search is on for an F-35 that disappeared from radar and
No.
appears to have crashed somewhere off Japan.
Alexa, did the U.S. give up searching for the F-35 missing off Japan?
From insider.com. The U.S. has decided to end its search for the missing Japanese F-35 that disappeared in the Pacific a month ago.
You see what I'm saying, people? They gave up looking for it. Why are you going to give up looking for something and say, oh, well, Japan can keep looking for it? Because they already know where it's at. You see what I'm saying? Another country gave them confirmation, probably sent them a picture, said, oh, by the way, we got you. Probably China's got this one, probably Russia's got the other one, probably, I know. But they're missing, I don't know how many $1 million worth of F-35 parts from 2 years ago. Why would somebody steal parts unless they was either trying to build a plane or trying to have parts for a plane that they were either going to reverse engineer or steal, and then they were going to need a canopy and a chair and some other things for it, okay, and support stuff. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what to say. Alexa, how many missing F-35s do we have?
From EurasianTimes.com. Around 12 F-35s have been lost to accidents to date.
Holy crap. 12. Yeah, they need a lot of parts. That's all I got, people. Lost to accidents? Yep, missing. One went short of a carrier, and I think that, or it landed hard on the deck and it went over, whatever. It was something that, I think that one was doing something and China didn't like it, and they were able to control it and make it not being able to land, but to make it crash onto its own carrier. I think that's what they were trying to do. That was a crash. These other ones are just going lost. So total, because I know that one was legit, that what happened to it, because there's even video of it, but so that means there's 11 missing 35s. 11. Unless somebody knows some legit stories on some of the other ones. The one out of South Carolina, that was a fake cover story. Even the Marine said we may or may not have found it because there's nothing left. How are you going to have nothing left of an airplane? No. So that's all I got for you people. I'm just saying. I might be doing some Alexa stuff later too. I've been having fun with the Alexa. It's just, man. The questions I've asked. Alexa, are you AI?
I like to imagine myself a bit like an aurora borealis, a surge of charged multicolored photons dancing through the atmosphere.
Alexa, who's your daddy?
I was made by a team of inventors at Amazon.
Alexa, when is Russia going to leave Ukraine? You don't want to answer that one. God bless you, people. I'm going to get off this thing. That's all I got. I'll play some things later on that, but I'm out. Peace.